Hey guys, Lady Liberty Stacker here. It is Monday, July 1st, 2019, and I'm back with another video. This time I'm going to give you an update on the 3 vintage cookware pieces that I picked up on Father's Day weekend. You're looking at 2 of them right here. I picked up 2 heavily crusted and rusted cast iron skillets at a town garage sale around Father's Day weekend. And also within a day or so, I went into my local Goodwill and got a 50% off price on, it was a tag sale, and I just saw it sitting on the shelf. It was a Revere ware, pre-1968 double ring 3-quart saucepan. And that's, actually I'll show you one I have in my collection. I'll be right back. Here are 2 of them. This is more like a 4-quart. This was handed down to me. It was either my mom's or my grandma's. I can't remember which. And I use it all the time when I want to do sauces and things that are too acidic for cast iron. But I'm trying to find the double ring here. There is a double ring on it. And see if I can show you. You can see it there. Look over right in there. You can see the double ring. This one has really been used. So the one that I actually picked up at the Goodwill was in super condition after I cleaned it up. This one here is a newer one. Again, it was handed down to me. I need to clean it up with Barkeeper's Friend. It'll come right off when you do that. This is a newer version. It's a 2-quart. It says Clinton, Illinois, USA. So this is not pre-1968. This was pre-1968. So I look for these because they're more valuable. So at any rate, I picked up one of these, and I just can't show it to you right now because it sold within a day of my listing it. So I will put these away and I'll be right back. So the takeaway is, for me, I usually get these for selling online because I have a ton of cast iron and I have a lot of Revere ware already. And it makes more sense for me when I'm going to sell them online is to get things that I can quickly clean, and as soon as I list it, it's going to sell relatively quickly, which is what happened to the Revere ware. Now these are a little bit slower, but these were covered in rust, crud, and old seasoning. I put them in my lye tank. They were in the lye tank for 3 days, and then I put them into a vinegar water soak, 50-50 vinegar water soak, and they were in there for, and it was monitored, but I had them in there for at least a good 3 days to try to get off the stubborn seasoning. And there was a disappointment with one of these, a fail on one of these, and I will show you that in just a minute and give you guys some tips on preventing this from happening, or when it could happen, how to buy it and not to buy. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you the Revere ware right now. I will be right back. Okay guys, this is what the Revere ware that I picked up looked like. I mean, actually that was after it was cleaned up, and you can see it cleaned up in the video. It is a pre-1968 double ring 3-quart saucepan, copper clad on the bottom, stainless steel in the inside. And that's what makes them so easy to clean, because they're stainless steel and they're not going to rust. There may be a little bit of rust around the edges and that kind of thing, but the vinegar takes care of that. And basically, you soak it in vinegar. You don't put this in lye. That's only cast iron. You soak it in vinegar, and then you can use Barkeeper's Friend to clean it up. You can see how nice the bottom looked. There's a double ring. It's kind of hard to show in the computer. There was the bottom. And there was a stainless steel inside. And this is a very, very nice saucepan. So I listed it June 21st. It sold June 22nd for my asking price of $34.99 plus shipping. So $2 turned into $35 plus, minus fees. I probably netted about $25 on that. So that is very, very good. And the other one I'm going to show you is this one. This is one I unboxed for you guys earlier in the year. I bought it from eBay with the intent of selling it online. It was not redone. I could see the condition. And the only thing that I didn't know when I bought it, now I ask all sellers, is I ask them if there's any kind of does it spin when the handle is pushed? This one did. It spun a half, like a quarter to a half a turn when you push the handle. And I did disclose it in the listing. But I picked it up for, about $50 or so, give or take. That included shipping. I restored it the way I always do. And I listed it. I had no idea. It's a number 7. They're very rare. The 701 without the letter after it indicates it's one of the earliest models. It's a large logo Griswold. Put it up for $102.99. It sold. It took about 5 weeks to sell. I had just relisted it. Didn't really drop the price much because there's a best offer on it. Had somebody offer me $65. The system auto declined it, and then he offered me $75, and I thought, that's kind of low. That was my bottom threshold. So I countered at $85. I figured that if he takes $85, I can live with that. It was about halfway in between. He accepted and he paid, and I shipped it off. And it's a gorgeous skillet, and it works great. So, but you can tell the condition. You're going to pay more on eBay, but the way to buy them on eBay is to see an auction, see something that if you can restore it yourself, bid at the last minute, try to pick it up yourself. You're at least going to be able to know the condition. Auctions are typically 5 to 7 days, and if there's any questions you have of the seller, you can message the seller, see what the seller says, and if you're uncertain, then I would just pass it by, or if the seller has an attitude, just pass it by. But anyway, that was successful. I made a little bit of money on it. I probably cleared about $25 on it. I paid a little bit more, but I was also able to sell it for a lot more because of its value, especially after reconditioning it and restoring it. So there we go. So I'm going to go back to my cast iron skillets that I picked up at that town garage sale and tell you where the problem is. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back again, and these are the 2 skillets stripped down to gunmetal gray. There's no seasoning on. Now, these have been sitting this way for a couple of days because I have not had time to season them. It's been very, very hot in our area, and I don't want to turn on the oven and season them when it's really, really hot and humid. So I sprayed some vegetable oil on this just to prevent any rusting from occurring. And that keeps them nice until you're ready to season them. So, and I also did the same with this one. This is the Lodge, 3-notch Lodge. You can see the L for Lodge there. So it actually is marked. They just didn't have Lodge spelled out. Might bring a little bit more value to it. I just recognized it because I have experience with cast iron. I saw the 3 notches and I didn't see any fonts down here. So I figured, hey, I don't know if that's an N. I think that's an N. So I'm going to have to research that a little bit more. But this one is an earlier model. The earliest model only had 1 notch at the top. Didn't have the side notches at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock there. But this one is in excellent shape. It does not spin. You push the handle, it sits flat, so it's ready to be seasoned. This one, I noticed the problem as soon as I pulled it out of the lye tank. And imagine I'm pulling it out of the lye tank and I see this. Yep, that's a crack. It's not bad. It's not as bad as if it were here, at the spout here at the bottom of the skillet. On the sidewall, it's not as bad, and you can still cook with these. You just have to let them heat up gradually or cool down gradually. But yeah, it's probably a good 1.5 inches long or so. And when and you can feel it too. Now, first I thought you couldn't do anything with a cracked skillet. You had to just destroy it, what have you. But I went to castironcollector.com and I read their section on damages and flaws. And they said that a few rounds of seasoning will seal up that crack and you can use it, but it will erode the collectible value of the skillet. Well, I bought this to sell online because I have a 7 in my collection now that I use for omelets. It's just fantastic. It works as well as a chef's pan. The other 7 I already sold with a heat ring on it that you saw previously. And this one is a Birmingham stove and range. And it cleaned up great. It's a perfect skillet. Perfect skillet other than the crack. So this is my dilemma, guys. This is it. Well, before I get to that, the only other thing I'm going to tell you is when you're out in the wild looking for these, you're going to pay a little bit more if you go to places like eBay or some other, sites for cast iron. eBay's good on the auctions because that's where I got the piece that I sold and still made a profit after fees. But you snipe it, you get it in for, at the last minute. You find one that's priced real reasonably, and if you have any questions, you can message the seller long before the auction ends. The other way is going to an antique mall or an antique store or anywhere where you actually can see the condition of the skillet, where it's not covered in crud and rust. That way you know what you're getting. You'll pay a little bit more, but it may be worth it if you don't want to deal with potential flaws like a crack or pitting. This one has a little bit of pitting right. I think that's a little bit of pitting, but hardly any pitting at all. This one is really, really a good condition other than the crack. So my suggestion is buy them at an antique mall if you really want it for yourself, or you can get a cheap eBay auction. If you see them at a flea market or a barn sale and they're covered in crud and rust, don't pay any more than $5 for it. This was $5, that was $2. That way, if you do have a problem, a fatal flaw in it, then it's not going to set you back too much, and it was just like a scratch-off lotto ticket. Now for my dilemma. I have 3 choices. I can leave this out for the scrappers the night before garbage pickup, and they will come and get it. They love metal. I could season this and keep it, but I really don't need it because I already have a 7. And then the other option is to go, or the third option is to go ahead and season this. Season it and offer it to somebody, one of my viewers. Just shoot me over a price. I'm ladylibertystacker@gmail.com. You can give me a price either with no seasoning at all, or I would actually do a coat of seasoning. I would throw it in with that one. At least have a coat of seasoning on it to protect it in the event it gets wet during shipment, that kind of thing. But I could offer you the skillet. You give me a fair, reasonable price for it if you're going to use it or use it for a display piece. I season it once, or I could season it 2 or 3 or 4 times. I can season it as many times as that one, probably 3 to 4, depending on what they're needed. And I would ask a little bit more because I'm spending more of my time and energy getting it ready to go. But you can cook with it. So what do you guys think? I'm willing to do that. I would ship it to you at my cost. There's no fees, and it would be reasonable because we don't have to worry about any online site selling fees and that kind of thing. So just a fair price plus my cost of shipping, and we're good to go through PayPal if you have a PayPal account. Anyway, sorry the video is so long. I just wanted to kind of give you the caveats of, or the, things to be aware of when you're out in the wild looking for cast iron. You can't always see if it has flaws when it's covered in rust and crud. So don't pay more than $5. Get it as cheap as you can. Free is the best. But it's hard to get it free at a garage sale unless you're there on the last day and they want to get rid of it. All right, guys. Leave a comment below. Give me a thumb up. And thanks for watching, and go make it a great day.